Yeah, plug it. Hi guys, good evening. Woo, thankful for life. Are we live? Awesome. I want to use it now. Hello everyone. LinkedIn, are we here? Are we good? It's another beautiful Tuesday evening, and we are here for C Suite Speaks with the Happy Employee Coach. So we're gonna wait for other people to join in. We're going for that people to join in, and our guest is going to join us shortly. Let me just send our guest the link. No. So, okay, what's happening here? Sorry, guys, I came on late. It's been a busy day, and I was just spending time with my husband, man, and enjoying our gisting. But yeah, duty calls, so it's time for impact. Sorry, guys. All right, welcome. It is Tuesday evening, time for C-Suite Speak. It is that time of the week when we learn, when we take a look at what we have, where we can learn from and improve ourselves, right? And say, how can we do differently going forward? So if you're live on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, please let me know so that I can just get on with the show and invite our guest on. I want to check LinkedIn, to be sure that we are live there. So please let me know. Drop a comment. That's the way I'm going to know that we are live and it's yeah, awesome. Please drop a comment so that I can know that this is working. Awesome. Welcome to C-Suite Speak with the Happy Employee Coach. Excitingly, this is episode 15. So I think we're live on LinkedIn. This is episode 15, and I'm just excited to be with all of us this evening and just grateful, like I say, for the opportunity to be able to, partner with God to share these insights and bring these lessons to you to help you navigate your career journey. All right, LinkedIn, I can't tell if you can hear me. Instagram, please just let me know if you can hear me. Let's just be sure we're live. LinkedIn, I don't have any comments from you as yet, so I need that confirmation. If you're on LinkedIn, please repost. Okay, repost so that people can know that we're live and ready to learn. Instagram, please put it on your stories as well. It's time for C-Suite Speak with a Happy Employee Coach, where we get to pick the brains of leaders who have gone before, literally. We get to pick their brains, we get to learn from them, and we just get to take advantage of what they know and what has worked for them so that you can skip some classes, in primary school, then they used to do double promotion. You can skip some classes, you know, when you pass the exam, but you skip a class. So C-Suite Speak is that platform that enables you to get double promotion literally in your work life. And that's something I'm going to start saying going forward. That C-Suite Speak is a secret to double promotion, to secure promotions, because you get to learn from those who have gone before. So if you're live, please let us know. Let's know where you are joining us from. Let's know so that and then please repost so that other people can join. LinkedIn, please repost. Instagram, please repost. Send it to your WhatsApp status and all of that. So I'm going to invite our guest right away. Hello, Dr. Michael. Welcome. Welcome. Are you here? Awesome. You're muted. You're muted. Can you hear me? For some reason, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know. I can't hear you. I don't know if you want to exit and join back.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is this
Awesome.
better?
Yes. You're back. You're here. Great
Great.
stuff. Okay. Thank you very much, Doc, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you so
having me.
much.
It's a privilege to be with you on
Thank you.
this C-Suite Speaks Live.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, what we do with C Suite Speak, like I explained, is provide a speed mentoring platform, right? And just I was saying earlier to the audience that honestly, it's really like when you're in primary school and you can skip a class and they give you double promotion. It's almost like that for us as career people,
Yeah,
right? Where you get to
I can
you
relate.
learn from others, and you can just skip some hard places in your career journey. You can just escape some pain, escape some things, know what you should do differently to help you to accelerate your growth, right? So that's what we do here. So it's you sharing your story, right? When people look at your profile and they're like, hey, he has authored how many books? He has done this. He's a doctor. And when they are wowed by all those things, it looks all glamorous, but there's a story, and it's that story that we
Yeah,
want
there
to
is.
hear. There's that story of pain, that story of sacrifice, that story of the right decisions, the wrong decisions, the right associations that brought you here today. It's like, how they say hindsight is 2020. So it's like looking back and say, what would you tell younger Michael, right, about where your journey to date? So welcome. So over to you. You start with introducing
Thank you.
yourself,
Thank you, Lenka.
and then tell us, can tell us about
Okay.
yourself as much as you want to, and then we'll unpack it from there. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Neka. And good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending where you're joining us from. So I would say that my story is one of grit, one of resilience, one of determination, and also one of sacrifices.
Mm.
So I have a background in chemical engineering, first degree. However, today I do human resources and a couple of other things. And I would say that human resources found me. While I say that human resources found me is because I had always thought that I was going to turn out an oil and gas engineer in the long run, you know. So getting to 400 level, I just discovered that I was supposed to be doing something different. And then at the end of the day, see me in human resources, and the rest is history. I'm a proud father. I have 3 kids. So you see my children, they want to say hello. So that's my girl, Sophia, and this is my boy, Ragwell. So I would say that pretty much that's my story, Neka, in summary. It's been a story of grit, it's been a story of resilience, tenacity, determination, and sacrifice. And as we go along, we will unpack the issues one after the other.
Awesome. All right. So let's start with where you started from, right? Which is, you said in 400 level, there was something happened, right? Talk to us about that. Okay, talk to us about that, because people feel as if, some people feel as if, I did not study this, therefore I don't have passion for it, or I don't have the skill set for it. So you will talk. I want you to start from what happened, as much as you can share, at that 400 level, and how did this journey of getting into HR begin? Can you still hear me? Oh, okay. Dr. Michael seems frozen. Let's wait for him to come. While we wait for him to come, if there are things you have learned, right, in the last past C-Suite speak, I still get feedback from time to time. Please share with us. We say that C-Suite Speak is our, now we have now called it, is a speed mentoring platform, yes, but now we have said it's our secret to double promotion. Okay, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I was trying to change the internet
Ah, yes,
connection, but I'm
no
back.
problem. Okay, so cool. One of the things you first said, I want to start from there about being a chemical engineer, right? And then something happening in 400 level. If you can share with us, let us know what happened, right, there that made you feel like it's like I can't continue in this path.
Wow, that's an intriguing question, and thanks, Nika. So I had an aha moment. I had always discovered that I was good with people. So I had always been leading from the age of 13. I've always led, um, always pioneered things, always started things from ground up. And then I just discovered I had a knack for dealing well with people, managing resources, managing people. So let me give a bit of a background. I started managing people from 13 when I got into the university. So I'm a Jesus boy. I'm not ashamed of saying that. I was campus fellowship general secretary, then became campus fellowship president, or what you call the pastor of the fellowship in 300 level. And I was the youngest pastor then. And I just discovered that I had a knack for managing people. Okay, I could manage resources efficiently, and I could multiply those same resources. And so when I discovered that engineering was no longer a fit, I spoke to a couple of my dad's friends. One of them is a fellow of CIPM, Dr. Grant Akata, and Dr. Ben Emiofogu. And they said, you know what? Don't go study human resources or psychology. When you finish, go start CIPM and then try to get an internship or study with a consulting firm, and then you just pivot your way into HR. And of course, I took their advice. And so, leaving the university, doing my youth service, I can never forget the man who took a chance on me, Mr. Oluseyi Wright. He is a Seventh-day Adventist pastor. Used to run his consulting firm called Leadership and Vision. I think he has changed the name to Wright and Co. Took a chance on me, believed in me, and then started doing stuff around HR consulting and all of that. Moved into the human resources department of Seven Up Bottling Company PLC, and I think the rest is history. Nika. So three things from this short part of the first story I've shared with you: the place of access to right mentors. All right. When you have access to right mentors, secondly, you have access to right information. A lot of people trivialize the fact that they get information from mentors. What you don't know is that that information shortens your journey. So rather than go rigmaroling, all right, they just give you this is the way to follow. I've traversed that path. This will get you there. So the access to right mentors, access to right information,
Information.
and then lastly, access to the right environment, or if you call it people who believe in you. So it's one thing to have mentors and have information. It's another thing to have people who believe in you and people are willing to take a chance or invest in you. And I think the early part of my career, Nika, is a function of those three things: right mentors, right information, and then the right people or the right support systems that believed in me. He's a chemical engineering graduate. What does he have to show? That belief in me fueled my fire, my zeal, and passion to say I needed to prove myself. And the rest, they say, is history. So those are the first three lessons from the early stages or the foundational stages of my career upon leaving the university. And those lessons have stayed invaluable with me up until now.
Awesome. I really like what you shared, and there's a lot to unpack. So just forgive me. The way this journey usually goes is you share, I take you back somewhere, right?
Okay.
Because you hear me
Okay.
typing, I'm typing my notes. I'll take you back somewhere, and then I will have you unpack because the audience is mixed, right? So I have people who are fresh out of school, who are just coming out of school, people who are already have been working, and as you share these lessons, right, they can pick their own, find themselves anchor moments in your journey that can then be motivation for them, right, for theirs. So you talked about discovering that you have a knack for managing people and resources. Like you came to that awareness. And I think it's something that is so downplayed, especially in this part on this side of the Atlantic. We seem to just get into this lock roads mode of everybody's doing this thing. We just continue without sitting back and saying, who am I really? So because someone else could have been in that position and said, hey, I'm studying chemical engineering, I'm doing this one. There are two different things. Let me finish my chemical engineering and continue trying that one. Do you understand? So please, for someone who is listening now, who is saying, I don't even know if I know what I like to do. How can I find out what I have enough, how can I find out what I have capacity to be able to do? Please just share with them, and I'm saying this, I'm asking this because you're also an academic, right? So that you can also look at it from that lens and talk to us about, just share with people who are listening, who need to understand, what do I even enjoy doing? How can I find out what it is about me that is great? Please.
So I would say the four P's, Nika. There are four P's that direct you to what you are good with, or what really you are wired to do. So first thing is your passion. All right, what are you passionate about? All right,
Hmm.
your passion most often times is a pointer to what you have a knack for. Second is what you are proficient at. All right, and without going into too much technicality, I would say, so that people can understand, by proficiency, I mean your natural endowments, your gifts, your talents, your skills. All right. So, what you are proficient at. Thirdly, is your personality. Your personality is how you are wired, how God has uniquely wired you. See, Neka, there are some people, their personality already will point us to the kinds of things that they are wired to do. All right. And then lastly, the confirmation of people. So that's the fourth P. But the confirmation of people really, it builds on the first three P's that I've talked about. All right. Passion, proficiency, personality. And then the fourth P, the confirmation of people, or what you will call feedback from people. So most of the times, people would have observed you doing things, and then they will give feedback. So I'll use myself as an example. So when I was in the university, I discovered that I could speak well, I could write very well. And then when you are looking for someone who can think about, maybe there's a hardest problem, nobody can solve it. If I take 1 or 2 hours to think through, I'll generate the solution to the problem. So I discovered I was getting feedback from people that, Mike, you are good with your head. You can think very well. You are good with writing. You are good with speaking. Today, Nika, I have built my life around that triangle. That
Hmm.
what I am wired to do, what my giftings are around how I speak, how I write. Of course, I've authored books, and then using my brain. All right. Most often times, I get into aha zones, or what peak performance, what you call those zones. And I'm amazed at the things I can generate just by staying still, staying quiet. So
Hmm.
people and confirming what you have is very important. So to repeat the four P's, what you are passionate about, what you are proficient at, what your personality says, and then the fourth P, people's confirmation or people's feedback. In summary, Neka, these four things speak to who you are, what you can do, and who you will become. So your being, your doing, and then your knowing. So that's it in summary.
Wow. Hey, hey. Okay, I'm coming. Oh,
Are
let
you
me finish
there?
my notes because I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. There seems to be a
I can hear
delay.
you.
Okay. Can you hear me? I was saying that I am taking
Yes, I
notes.
can.
I
Can you hear
wanted to.
me?
Okay, I can hear you. I wanted to finish taking my notes before I pause. You know what I'm enjoying the most about this conversation, right? Is how you are, for lack of a better expression, giving us frameworks. So I ask a question. For every question, giving us framework and even recapping, so that anybody that is like, oh, they got lost while they were listening, they got distracted, they can still come back and say, this is the crux of what he has shared, right? And that for me is so powerful. Can you hear me? It looks like there's a bit of a delay. I'm not sure. Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. I
Okay,
can hear
good.
you loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So let's you said so many things. So talk about peak performance zones. I will come back there. Hey, I hope I'm able to in terms because I want to go back up a bit, right? One of the things you talked about was mentors, access to the right mentors, and how that is so pivotal. Because you could have decided, I don't want to do chemical engineering again, and then take the course anyhow, just do it anyhow, start leave school, say I want to go and do another, this is not what I want to do. But just having the right mentors, right, makes a world of difference. Please, can you share with us easy ways to find the right mentors? Just some tips, easy ways that we can find the right mentors, please. Just share with us.
Hmm. Can you hear me, Neka?
Yes, there is a delay.
Hello,
Um,
Neka. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. There is a delay, but I can hear you. Can you hear
Hello?
me? I can hear you. Sorry, guys.
Yes, I
There
can hear
seems to
you.
be okay. There seems to be a delay. Um, can you hear me? Do you want us to do you want us to try you exiting and coming
Hello,
back?
Neka. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, you're back. Uh-oh. You're muted again. Sorry, everyone. The network is hasn't aligned with us quite yet, so just give us a few minutes. Okay. There seems to be an issue. So while we wait for him to be able to join back and hear me, can you share with us what you are hearing so far? Like, let's know, what are you hearing from this live so far? I will share some. One of the things I'm hearing is understanding yourself very quickly, right? And the fact that some of us underestimate the power of just the right information. Someone was telling me, my husband, I think a couple weeks ago, that we should not underestimate what he called information asymmetry, the assumption that what you know, every other person knows. Sometimes, we are make that assumption that what you know, everybody knows. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed when you realize, right, that, hey, there's a lot, you know, that you don't know, and that what you know is such powerful information. So that's something that I'm learning so far, right? And then there's a question I want to ask him, because he said something that when he got a chance, when the person that believed in him, Mr. Oluseyi Rice, when he believed in him, he was determined to prove himself. My question to us, right, is, or to anyone listening, right, is this: are you still trying to prove yourself on the job? Are you still trying to prove yourself on that job? When you got that job, you were grateful, you were happy, you were excited. Are you still showing up with that same energy to prove yourself? How are you showing up at work? How? That's a question I want, and I'm going to ask him that question to say, hey, share with us tips on how we can, take that position of proving ourselves. That's just such a powerful lesson today. So my question to you as you listen is, what are you proficient on? Is it on? What are you proficient at? No, sorry, forgive me, guys. What are you proficient at? Ask yourself that question this evening. What are you proficient at? What do you do very well? Please ask yourself that question and drop a comment. And if you're just joining us, we are still live C-Suite Speak. We are talking to Dr. Michael Ogu, a veteran leader in the HR space. He's joining us back shortly, and he's already dished out some very powerful things. And he's an academic, or what he calls a pro-academic, so a professional that's in the academia, right? And I like how he's answering questions, because he's framing them so beautifully and giving you clear points that you can go and think about. Are you back? I see you're back.
Yes, I'm back, Neka. Yes. Thank
It
you
is
so
well.
much.
So
My
do you the question I
apologies.
asked? No, it's fine,
Yes.
100%. So
How
yeah,
do I, what do
easy
I
ways
look
for
for
us
in
to find
finding a mentor,
mentors.
right? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, with the benefit of hindsight, when I started my career, I didn't have a framework for choosing mentors. But
Mm,
as I grew my career and up to the level I am today, I would say I've come up with a framework for choosing my mentors. It's what I call the CARES framework. All right. If you're going to pick a mentor, because you see, a mentor is going to pour into you. All right. So there are five things that I look out for in a mentor. It's called CARES. First is character and values. Is there an alignment between character and values? All right. Second, so the C is character and values. The A is attitude and personality. Attitude and personality, very important, because what my mentor carries will rub off on me, whether
mm,
consciously or unconsciously. The arrow in cares is what I call reputation and results. Does the person have the reputation, the background, and does the person have the kind of results I'm looking for? Has the person demonstrated that they can do what they say they are bragging about? So reputation and results. Then the E is what I call the triplets of experience, exposure, and expertise. All right. You want a mentor who has experience and exposure. Uh, you the company you keep and Neka matters a lot. The company you keep can influence your thinking, can influence your beliefs, can influence your mindset, can influence your perception and outlook in life, can even influence how you are going to stretch yourself. If you play with small mentors, you will remain small, you will see small, you will envision small. So experience, exposure, expertise, and then the S in the CARES framework is what I call skills and social capital. Sometimes your mentor will spend their social capital for you. Neka, in my 18, 19-year career, I have had mentors who have spent social capital for me. So when I look at how my career has progressed, I did not know that that was the mix I was using to pick people, mentors. But over the years, particularly in the last 3, 4 years, I just discovered that, hey, these were the things I was looking out for in a mentor. And guess what? The CARES framework works for me because my mentors, they care for me. My mentor cares for me. If you understand the law of honor, Nick, and I hope with time we have time to explain the law of honor. All right, when it comes to mentoring relationships, your mentor will spend their social capital on you. I don't want to mention names on this call. I have a lot of mentors in the consulting space. You know some of them in our HR space who have spent social capital for me. I'll give you an example. Not trying to brag here. All right.
mm.
I have been the official master of ceremonies for the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management's biggest conference in Africa. Master of Ceremony 2021, Master of Ceremony 2022, this year again, Master of Ceremony 2025. Mentors have used social capital. They've spent social capital on me to give me those big platforms. So that has been the framework I have used to select my mentors. It works for me. I don't know if it will work for anybody who wants to apply, but it has worked for me consistently. And I can tell you free of charge, that is how I pick my mentors. So that's it, Neka. You know, the CARES
Wow.
framework.
We can just stay on this framework alone. We don't need to go out. We don't
Yes,
need to
we
touch and
can.
ask another question.
Yeah,
We
we
actually
can. We
can
can.
just sit on this alone. Hey, I told people that when I first started doing C-suite speak, someone is asking how can we monetize this framework? Because
They are my
honestly,
intellectual property. Oh, don't even go there.
so
They are
so if
currently undergoing the process of being patented.
being
So,
patented, awesome, great. You see,
yes.
I told people that when I first started C-suite speak, right, I started it with the mindset to help younger people, right? Like I said, that double promotion mindset, that skip some classes in your career so that you can get there faster. But one of the greatest things that's happened to me is I have been the first beneficiary. I have gotten answers to deep-seated questions on C-suite speak. I have gotten clarity. I have gotten confusion cleared. I have just gotten enlightened so much. And now, so I'm not even kidding. Now, me, I'm number one. I'm the first beneficiary of C Suite Speak. So I'm going to say thank you for sharing this framework because if we begin to unpack it, right, The fact of reputation and results, reputation and results, that one hits me, because all the people can be theories plenty. Oh, people can speak English and like, when you come underneath, are these results, will they stand the test of time? And that is so critical. Let's talk a bit more about mentoring. I'm sorry, I will go back to that, but let's stay there. Let's dive in a little bit on mentoring. Within this framework, right? In Then I know this is the criteria I want to use to select. So when from where I am, how easily can I assess someone and know if they meet the criteria? Because sometimes there's a distance. And
Mhm.
how can I want someone to make someone to invest in me? Because
Hmm.
talk about investing. So from a
Yeah.
distance, how do I tell, where these dots, where these eyes, eyes are dotted, T's are crossed, and how can I make that conversation for the person to say, okay, I want to do this?
Hmm. That's a very practical question. So I will answer experientially and I will use my experience and different stories at different junctions in my career without mentioning names, but I'm sure they will resonate. So the first is what I call the law of observation, Nika. You need to start observing. And you, when I mean observing, check their social media handles, check where they have speaking engagements, show up at those platforms, and first observe from afar.
Hmm.
Also, is the law of due diligence. That's the second law. You now begin to ask questions, find out who are their what when you want to connect with some mutual connections, find out someone who
Yeah.
knows them that you know, to also do some research about those people. So the law of observation and the law of due diligence go along at the same time because you'll be gathering facts about this person. That's where you cannot come up with a checklist of questions along the case framework that you can ask people. You can also gather research. Part of the law of due diligence is to find out someone who is their direct report to verify some of those claims. And by the time you are able to verify, the third law is now the law of intentional connect. Take note of the word I use, intentional. A lot of mentees just connect and they just do it with a lazy attitude, and I don't know. It's what we call the law of intentional connect or intentional connection. So you show up at their next speaking engagement, introduce yourself, say, "Oh, I've admired your work. You've been a great influence and a role model to me. I would appreciate if you could mentor." Sometimes they will give you what is called a subtle rebuffer. I don't have time, and all those things, which is the first thing any busy person would do. Because you see, Neka, one of the things a lot of senior people have been hurt, and I've been hurt too at my level of seniority, is a lot of people abuse access, but that's going to be a story for another day. So you have the subtle rebuttal, "I'm busy," and all of that. If you know what you are looking for, you will look for ways. Oh, okay, how about, blah, 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 blah. You can even make an offer to serve. Or is there any way I can support? I heard this project is coming up. Can I be a part of it? I'd just like to volunteer. There's a respected HR leader today. All right. She's someone I respect so much. She shares the same birthday with my wife. I remember when she was starting a major project some years ago, I volunteered to support her on that project because I knew what I was looking for: access. Are you getting my point? Sometimes you
Hmm.
need to volunteer. What projects are they having? Oh, he's planning a program. Oh, I'd like to be part of the volunteer thing. When they notice they are serious, they will bring you close. That's where the law of access now happens. Now, with the law of access is maintained with the law of honor. As a principal, Neka, I don't go to a mentor's house without a gift, no matter how small. Yes, I'm telling you the blatant truth. All my mentors, I have learned how to manage access through the law of honor. So I'm going to a mentor's house, I don't go empty handed. If it's a bottle of wine, if it's biscuits, if it's sweet, if it's a notebook and a pen, something thoughtful, it doesn't have to be expensive. And then guess what? You now begin to manage that relationship with understanding, and then with mutual trust and respect. You respect their time and all of that. I can go on and on and share with you many laws of mentoring. All right. But the most important thing is that when they now spend their credibility on you, which is the law of credibility, you must ensure that you deliver quality work. See, my last three roles, Nika, have been gotten through mentors. My role at Polaris Bank was through a mentor, a revered mentor in the Big Four space. He's in he's in one of the Big Fours. All right. He just calls me up and say, Mike, there's a role at Polaris Bank. I tell him I'm not interested. Say, don't worry, just hear the chief talent officer. So the chief talent officer, who used to be my former boss, reaches out, say, Mike, I hear you are from this person, you come highly recommended, blah 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 blah. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. An interaction, a chat that was just supposed to last for 30 minutes. Said, you know what? Can I get my MD into the conversation? A chat of 30 minutes ended up being an interaction of 90 minutes. I got my offer letter the following day. But you see, I tell people that if you don't build you see, mentoring is a two-way relationship, Nika. It's not, a lot of mentees are just looking for urgent 2K, urgent 5K. Let me say this to anyone listening on the call. Your mentor is not someone you should start asking for money. No, don't abuse that privilege. Don't abuse that privilege. And you start, I've not been paid my salary. Can you help me with 15K? The moment you do that, what you have done is that you have shut down that access forever. A lot of people need to be taught how to manage relationship, which is why I can see, Nika, if we just focus on the law of honor alone, we can talk on the law of honor for the rest of this interaction, because people now need to understand that honor is placing the appropriate value on that relationship. And it's not just value, it's what we call priority, because there are two dimensions to honor: value and priority. A lot of us don't honor those relationships. All right. So when you place the appropriate honor, what happens? It now gets into mutual recognition. Then what then happens? You enjoy the gifts. You see, Neka, there are gifts of a mentoring relationship. There is goodwill, there is influence, there is favor, there's trust, and there's social capital. When your mentor starts spending gifts on you, forget it. You are a good mentee. When they now say, go and represent me in this place, or come and join me to facilitate this training, and without you asking, say, oh boy, send your bank account number. Let me give you small thing for fuel. I have had those privileges. I have had mentors call me, come and facilitate this program for me. I've had mentors call me, follow me to this place, come and be part of the faculty, without expecting anything in return. Sometimes you get some good change that can buy fuel for 1 month. Sometimes you get good change, you give madam money to buy soup, you buy toys for the children. Everybody goes home happy. But you see, before you get to that level where a mentor will spend gifts on you, you must understand the law of honor. So let's stop there, because I can go on and on. I am a beneficiary.
We're not stopping
Sorry.
there.
Let me close
We are
with
going to
another
stay
one.
here.
I'm
We
coming.
are
How did I
camping.
become a academic? Okay, so let me tell you how I became a academic. By the grace of God, I'm an adjunct faculty member at Lagos Business School. So I teach organizational behavior, human resources on the academic programs, and then I teach on the executive education programs. All right. A couple of years ago, October 2018, I think that's 7 years ago, a mutual friend, we just were in a meeting, and he just introduced me to his friend, who was the head of department at OB. All right. That friend was like a mentor to me, because he had mentored me in the past. I said, I love to do this. He just introduces me to his friend, who was the head HOD. Okay, you are from CFA. Okay, you know what? Send me your CV. I send my CV. Say, okay, the following Saturday, he says, come to LBS, come and teach this class. The rest is history, Nika. That was how I was introduced to about 5 other leading faculty who are full-time faculty members who I teach their courses at Lagos Business School. But if I did not manage that mentoring relationship well, if I did not manage honor and access, I would not have got today. Now, I go into LBS, I teach, I come back, I go, I teach, I come back. All right. And I've had maximum exposure. You don't know what that has done for my career. I've met the who is who. You have met a lot of people. And the last law I want to talk about is the law of humility. Nick, I've been dealt a big blow before. So let me be vulnerable here. While growing up, and of course, that part of my personality has tempered a bit. If you met me when I was, if you met me 10 years ago, all right, if you were not close to me, you just say I'm proud and arrogant, all right? People have often told me in the past that you are too proud, you are too arrogant. In fact, someone had told me in the past that when I talk passionately, it can be misconstrued that I'm trying to attack somebody and all of that. But over the years, with feedback from mentors, that aspect of my personality has been tempered to the point that I can now understand a number of things, you know. So I say to people that humility is very important. The law of humility goes hand in hand with the law of honor when it comes to relationship, because if you are humble, you'll be able to place honor. And once you can use humility and honor, you can effectively manage access. So those are some of the mentoring laws that have helped me to manage mentoring relationships. And see, Neka, I have never been afraid of saying, you know what, I am ready to serve. The truth is, I am on a number of platforms where I am older than some people in terms of age and in terms of a number of things, but it doesn't stop me from serving. All right, because the truth is, when you serve people, hey, you don't know who is watching. They'll just give you access to certain opportunities. And like I said, mentoring is access to information. There are certain platforms I have accessed that are not public knowledge. They did not come because I'm one superstar. No, they came because I understood the laws of mentoring. So let me leave it at that.
Ha. Wait, let me finish typing my notes because I learn when when I write. There is a lot to unpack from what you've said, and I'm just asking myself, where do I start? You said be ready to serve regardless of age. Let me start from there. I remember a couple of months ago or so, I did a post where I said, all of us as human beings are wired to serve. Stop fighting it. And I think that people need to understand it, that the way life is structured is that you serve, others serve you, you serve. So if you stay on a high horse and think, no, you are not going to serve, there's problem. There is serious problem. You must be willing to serve. Let me go back a bit in what you shared. You said one thing, oh guys, did you hear that? That mentoring gives you platforms that are not public knowledge. Oh. It's not everything they used to advertise. Oh, it's not everything. And some of those platforms, by humility and willingness, yes, money comes from them. Someone said money from mentor care. Of course, money from mentor. But let me go back. You shared one thing around mentoring. It looks like we're going to just sit here a bit. I mean, and maybe if you can wrap up the show here, bring it back another time to talk about other things, career. Let's let's wrap the show. Let's focus on this. You said something that one of the wrongest things to do with a mentor, right, is asking for urgent 2K, asking for urgent money. You've also shared about the importance of honor, right? That you don't go and visit without a gift and you should volunteer. So there are like two, 3 points or so you've shared. Can you talk to us about what comes to mind? Top two things or three things that people do wrong with mentoring that we should avoid. Other things
Hmm,
that we should avoid when it comes to getting mentoring right. Please just share some of those things with us.
hmm. So, Neka, I would say let's use it in our local parlance. The first thing is what we call see finish, or what we say over familiarity. Okay, I have a mentor, Neka. I'm not going to mention his name. If I make an attempt to mention his name, a lot of us know him in the HR space. But guess what? He also has his style of watching mentees. His first 10 meetings with you, they will be outside his house. Are you hearing me? They'll be outside his house, maybe in his office, maybe eatery and all of that. But he's watching. And as he's watching, he's assessing. The moment you scale those first 10 meetings, you don't know you've passed certain tests. The 11th meeting, he will invite you to his house. The moment you can make it to his house, you have now entered another inner circle of mentees.
Ah.
I also uh, I also have another female mentor. I don't want to mention her name. She's very revered in the banking space. All right. I can tell you if she sends for me tomorrow and say, meet me at so time, I'll change my schedule. You know why? It's not every time I meet with her. But when she says, come, let's discuss, that 1 hour with her is golden, no? It's golden. Because the nuggets I will get. So over familiarity, see finish. I think another thing we get wrong is that we undermine the value of the advice we get from our mentors. We undermine the value because sometimes we think because we have access to them, whereas some of us will go and pay another person, maybe for a coaching session or something, just to get that advice. And I think a third thing we get wrong is not having proper expectations of the mentoring relationship. And maybe the last one, respecting the mentor's time and boundaries. I have certain mentors, with all due respect, on the other sex. They will tell you after so time, you can't call me. That is to opposite sex mentees. And generally, as a rule of thumb, after 10 p.m., 11 p.m., they don't take calls. So you need to respect the mentor's time and boundaries. Respect the mentor's time and boundaries. And if you know you don't want a relationship of value, just say from the onset, because sometimes some mentees take mentors for granted. I have the privilege of, I have the privilege of founding AHLP with other 6 co-founders 8 years ago. We have a free mentoring program that we run. One of the feedback we got from some of the mentors is that a lot of mentees take their time for granted. They get on a Zoom call, they are waiting for you for 30 minutes, no apologies, you don't show up, and that's it. So a lot of mentees don't respect mentors' times. In fact, let me tell you now, I just made up my mind from next year, no more free mentoring. I just decided that one this year. No more easy truth maker, no more free mentoring. Because sometimes I realize that a lot of people don't value what they do not pay for. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't value what they do not pay for. I started planning for 2026 a few weeks back, and I'm saying to myself, what are the key milestones I want to achieve? And on my personal development budget is millions of naira. Because if I'm going to command the kind of premium attention I want to command, I must also invest in myself. We'll talk about, if there's time, I'll talk about the role of being intentional about investing in yourself, because it's also very important in career success. But I think those are some of the things that a lot of people take for granted in mentoring relationships.
Okay, so I'm going to go back up, right? And then I'll bring it back down to where we are now. You said that when Mr. Olusheyi Wright took a chance on you and believed in you, right? You decided and you determined that you were going to prove yourself, right? You made that comment. So please, can talk to us about what does it even mean to prove ourselves? Is it necessary? Is it something that is a big deal? If I've worked in a place for 1 year, do I still need to keep trying to prove myself? Is there a timeline to it? Let's talk about that. Just what does that mean, and how do you prove? Why should we bother? What did you do? Let's share about that.
Great question, Neka. And I would say first, there is no end to keep proving yourself. You keep proving yourself because the truth is, so because I'm a academic, all right, every time I go to teach in class, I have to prove myself. It's a new set of participants. So by the quality of my facilitation, by the quality of content, by my delivery and all of that. So, but let's come back to your question. I had to make up my mind to prove myself for 2 reasons. One, I was a science or engineering major moving into management sciences. Much more importantly, I needed to justify the trust and the confidence that had been reposed in me. So number one, I was hungry for knowledge. Neka, that year, I can tell you I read a lot of books on HR, on management, on consulting. I was just a voracious learner, a shameless learner. I was learning. Number two, I was not scared of asking questions. So intellectual curiosity, I was always asking questions. Number three, I made up my mind that anything I was going to do, I would do it excellently. So I ensured that I avoided doing things, I avoided submitting reports or doing anything that had error. Lastly, I was open to feedback. And guess what? Those four things guided me at the early stage because I read chemical engineering now. I've not done anything in psychology or HR or management. So I was throwing. As I was throwing, I would go and ask him, bounce him up, blah, 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 blah. There will be times he said, go and prepare these slides. Ah, Neka, I had to go and I'll put the slides together, do everything, even do dry run with myself then. And guess what? I became better at it, Neka. There was a time they asked me to facilitate a program. You will be thinking that I've been facilitating for years. Not lie. Not just hard work. I'm telling you. There were times I would sleep in the office. Yes. Putting slides together. Yes.
Tell those
Those were
stories.
sacrifices. Yes. Sacrifices. So I ask people, if you really want to go far, how willing are you going to make those? There were days I slept in the office. Even moving on to 7 Up, even when I worked in 7 Up, I worked with Barrister Femi Mokikon, who is one of the sage in the HR space today. 2014, I was working closely with him. He asked me to put the HR strategy document for the entire HR team. Yes, I did that strategy document from the morning of Tuesday. So I think I slept in the office to the following morning of Wednesday, sent it to him, got home. I was living in Ikeja, I still do. Took a bus from Ijora to Ikeja in the morning, took my bath, and then rushed back to the office. But today, see, those sacrifices have paid off. They have paid off. So sometimes when I give my younger colleagues opportunities to go and prepare slides for me, it's not out of laziness. So I can do my slides, but I'm trying to see how willing are you going to apply yourself. So those were things I did. All right. And I think that to a large extent, they shaping my work ethic to the point that if you ask me to do anything, except I don't want to do it, if I say I'm going to do it, I will give my 150%, in it. And that's been it. So the fact that I was hungry, I wanted to prove a point that an engineering or science major can be good at it. And the rest is history. All right. 19 plus years in HR, teach part-time, doing very well, and I give God all the glory. So that's it, Neka, ensuring that I go the extra mile. And let me say this to anyone who is listening to me. Intellectual curiosity, or if you like, you can call it intellectual humility, will take you far. Always realize that there are boundaries of your knowledge. You will not know everything. So it's okay to say, great point. I don't know so much about it, but I'm willing to do a research, and when we meet, we can discuss. So that's it, Nika.
You said, they say something, that the challenge with ignorance is that you don't even know that you are ignorant. So the first medicine or cure is accepting that your knowledge has boundaries on a subject matter, even the one you have done for so long, and be willing to stay humble and say, I may have done this thing for long, but my knowledge has boundaries. That's so powerful. Someone asked a question I just want to read out and just refer the person back to an answer that you gave. The person says, how do you approach a mentor? What would you be discussing? That are people that the person admires from afar. So you've already shared with us how to observe, right? And then how to engage and ask questions, reach out to their direct reports and find out about them. Then approach them at an event and say, "Oh, I've been looking at your work. I want you to mentor me." Ask questions, right? And then volunteer and stay in their space. So he said, volunteer, add value. Don't just say, I want you to mentor me, then what? Because when people tell me that, someone told me that thing recently, and I said, I don't have a mentoring program. Get my books and read my books. When you see me go for programs, follow through on those. That's the only way. If you have any question, come and ask me. But let's talk about your books. I want you to share with us the titles of your books and the why you wrote those books. Please, let's talk about that.
So I've always loved to write. So let me give a bit of a background why I write. My mom is, for those of us who are children of teachers, My mom is a retired deputy director of education. All right, retired
Ah, our moms are
education.
the same thing. Amazing.
So my mom, I used to follow my mom actually to class as a young lad. They used to call me mommy's rapper. I followed my mother everywhere, to class, to church, to market. Make I pick my negotiation skills from my mom. So when my mom used to write her lesson notes, I'll be writing with her. Little did I know that I was going to turn out a writer of books. But I had always known on my inside that I would write. So I've written 6 books. I'm currently simultaneously writing the seventh and the eighth, which should be out next year. The first book is titled Managing Your Talent for Value and Visibility. And that's a treatise on personal talent management. How do you manage your talents, your gifts, and ensure that you can earn a premium? That's why I wrote Managing Your Talent for Value and Visibility. The second book is Getting Mentoring Right, which has all the frameworks I've told you about on mentoring. All right. You want to understand how to build a successful mentoring relationship and get the best out of a mentoring. See, I am a product of mentoring. Nobody can tell me otherwise. You cannot deceive me. Like I said, Nika, my last 3 jobs have been through my mentors. The fourth book is called Anchored. Anchored is a book on soft skills that will help you navigate the turbulent workplace. One of the core soft skills I talk about in Anchored is self-esteem, self-confidence, and executive presence. That's chapter 5 of Anchored. Nick, I've met a lot of people who, whether a lack of executive presence, imposter syndrome, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, has made them cower into their shells. I've met brilliant people. When they are talking to you one-on-one, they can talk confidently. Once they are exposed to a group of people, you just see them, they become mute. So Anchored is a book on soft skills that helps you to shine in the marketplace. And then my recent trilogy series, which I released January this year on my birthday, January 5th, is the Career Search trilogy series, which is a summary of 21 principles that I have applied in my career that helped me to get to the peak. Volume 1 has 7 principles. The principles of identity, clarity, strategy, personality, opportunity. How do you take advantage of those hidden opportunities I talked about? It's in Career Search. Volume 2 talks about capacity and capability. And Neka, let me quickly talk about capacity and capability. All right. Now, if you take 2 bottles of water, for example, the first bottle 750 milliliter, the second bottle 500 milliliter. In terms of capability, those 2 bottles have the same capability, which is to hold water or hold liquid. But in terms of capacity, they do not have the same capacity. One can take more, one can take less. You learn how to expand your capacity because you see, as you move into senior roles of leadership, you will be judged by both capability and capacity. All right. The CEO gives you more work to do. He's not expecting you to do everything. But how do you manage your capacity to delegate? How do you manage your capacity to get work done through people? So that's Career Search Volume 2. And then Career Search Volume 3 talks about your legacy, industry,
Somebody's calling you
and all
daddy.
of that. All right. And then the 2 books I'm writing simultaneously now. One is on leadership effectiveness and personal influences. I talk about the 12 intelligences that make you a great leader. And then, of course, uh, the 8th book, because I told you I'm writing the 8th and the 7th.
Mhm.
The 8th book is also a book on growing people. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And that's the
Wow.
reason why I wrote those books. To see how they can help people. And I say this to people not because I'm the author, but if you want to really accelerate your career, get those books without even having a meeting with me. You can be the best at what you do.
Sorry, somebody's looking for daddy. Sorry. So I think that we're going to have to wrap this up so that we can let you go to attend to family matters, right? Sorry, I'm sorry. I know
No, no
how
problem.
they are very relentless, and it's that time that you are doing something. That's the exact same time that they want what they want. So 100% is fine. We will wrap up right now. I think that we'll bring it back another time. Ladies and gentlemen, he shared with us, you know, 6 books that he's written, right? And the next 2 that he's writing, right? That to help you to accelerate your career. If you are listening to this, I'm sure you've gotten value. I'm not, again, I always say this to my guests. I will not hype for hyping just for talking sake. To be honest, I have written 1.5 pages since you've been talking. and I'm not even joking. I have typed out 1.5 pages in the whole thing you've shared, and we've not even scratched a lot. There's a lot that we have not scratched in
We've,
this
yeah, to
conversation.
be honest, we've not, because you've just focused on the early part of my career.
Honestly,
Because
you
if
were just
mid
dropping gems
level,
now. What can we do?
if we flip to middle, I'm sure maybe when you bring me back, I'm sure you have questions around mistakes I made. Yes, I've made mistakes. I tell people,
Ah,
and I tell people that you can learn from the mistakes of a mentor. One of the greatest mistakes I made was not learning how to carry stakeholders along. Maybe I should drop that, Nika. And that
yes.
cost me a lot at my middle level career. Of course, if not for wisdom and other things, I was able to navigate. So anytime I'm new in an organization, I'm working on a project, I do my current stakeholder. Who are the key people that are pivotal to my success in this organization? That was one mistake I made mid-level career. I just thought I'm one bright, I'm the brightest kid on the block. I didn't know I was plotting my downfall. you
Hmm.
know and I tell people that because we sit in HR has a lot of stakeholders. You will do a lot of massaging of egos. All right, but that's just one mistake. I'm sure when you bring me back, in the future, I'll share other mistakes. I have made mistakes. Any C-suite leader you see who has risen to the top and tell you they don't have mistakes, they're just telling you lies. The only thing is, we have now discovered that yes, we made those mistakes. How do we now tell stories? How do we turn those mistakes into messages? I tell people, every general that has a star had scars. There's no general.
Yes.
There's no general that has stars without scars. Oh, there's nobody who is preaching an authentic message today that did not have mistakes. All right, there's
Hmm.
nobody. All right, so you're looking for people who are practical, who are raw, who are authentic. They will have mistakes to tell you. And Neka, I can write a book on my mistakes. I can tell you the
Hmm.
truth. Maybe that will even be inspiration for my ninth book.
Honestly,
Mistakes not to make in your career. If I sit down and think through, that can even become wisdom for the coming generation. This is the mistake. This is how to prevent it. This is the mistake. Maybe you've even given me inspiration to write my ninth book. This is the
honestly.
mistake. This is how to prevent it. This is the mistake. This is how to prevent it. Because the
Hmm.
truth is, Neka, a lot of people must realize that your career journey will never be a straight line. Anybody
Yeah.
that tells you it's a straight line is deceiving you. It will be full of ups and downs. Ups and downs. But guess what? If you stay focused, you have the right set of mentors, you have the right information, you can navigate those ups and downs, all right, successfully. So I think those are just the other things that I
Wow.
felt I needed
Wow.
to add, that to just make this, a very real episode, so that people don't think I'm just one perfect guy who doesn't have mistakes. No, I have had mistakes in my career, and I can document them, and I can teach people messages from those mistakes.
In fact, I'm already thinking of a title for that book for you, to be honest. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding, and I'll chat you. I'm
Okay.
thinking of a title. It's something I help people to do, right? Come up with titles, that just help them to that the message becomes more attractive, right? Someone is asking how we get your book anchored, sir. It's please
Okay.
follow him on I tagged him
On
on the
LinkedIn.
post.
Yeah,
Follow
and
him
then
on
let me
LinkedIn.
drop I can
Please
type in the
drop
chat
it on
box, right?
LinkedIn. Yes, 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 please.
So let me they can get it on my website, or they can
Please.
reach out to me on LinkedIn.
No,
Uh,
I want it to be on the live on LinkedIn. So anybody that
so
watches it
I'm
after
trying
now
to,
can always access it. Please. That's what I want it to be on the
okay,
live.
let me type so if you go to my website, michaelogu.com, you will
Please.
see my bookstore. Can you see it now, Nika?
It takes a while to show on the streaming platform here, but
So
if
it's
you it's
michaelogu.com.
michaelogu.com.
Yes,
Okay,
MICH. Yes,
I'm gonna type it on LinkedIn
MICHAAL.
directly as well so that people there can get it. Michael Ogu. So I'm putting it on LinkedIn directly as well so that people can get it, so they can guess. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, the link to his books, I put the link up on LinkedIn. So anybody that rewatches, they will always see the link there so that they can always access it. But do well to follow him. Before I let you go very quickly, you talked about being a Jesus boy. Can you share with us two things or three things about that journey? I'm not going to box you in. Any two
No,
or three things.
I am never afraid to talk about my faith. I'm a Jesus boy through and through. So I got born again at 13, got baptized in the Holy Ghost at 14, 15, thereabout. I've always perceived the call of God on my life. So I'm heavily involved in pastoral work in my church. Of course, for some time I ran away, but I just said to myself, "Hmm, boy, you can't run away." So I attribute everything I do to the God factor. God has always been my source. He has been my Ebenezer. The inspirations I get them in the place of prayer. I get them in the place of meditation. I get them while studying. Guess what? Um, I've learned a lot of things from scriptures. So I say to people that God has been my source of help. All right. I call myself a young boy who has been marvelously helped by God. And my story, Nika, is Psalm 18, verse 2. That's the summary of my story. You see those dimensions David expressed. I have seen him in my life. He has been my buckler. He has been my shield. He has been my rock. He has been my strength. So I say to people that if God has been your help, why you ashamed of publicly, proclaiming that God has been your strength? So God has been my strength. I do not arrogate any glory to myself. All right. God has been my source of wisdom. God has been my source of inspiration. All right. There are times I will just wake up in the morning and the stream of inspiration is just coming. I look for the next thing to trap it, whether it's a notebook, whether it's my phone, or whatever things. And every inspiration I've gotten for all my 6 books, they've always come from God. In fact, someone read Managing Your Talent for Value and Visibility a few days ago, and it was like they were pouring cold water on his body, and it was so refreshing. Where has this book been? So I attribute everything I do to God. God has been my rock, and like I said, my story of my walk with God is Psalm 18, verse 2. And if you could stretch it, Psalm 23. All right, Psalm 23. The Bible says, "The Lord is my shepherd." The Good News Version. I have everything I need. So God has been my shepherd. God has been my rock, and I give him all the glory for all that he has done for me. Of course, like I said, I'm heavily involved in pastoral work where I minister. I do a lot of work in church, and God has been faithful. So that's it. I'll keep it at that.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. See, I know that between you and I, we can be here for the next 1 hour and we'll not finish. So we're going to bring you back, right? Because even though I've known you for years, I've seen sides to you today that I did not know about at all, right? And I'm so grateful that you trusted this platform to say, hey, I'm going to come on and share my story, right? I don't take it for granted at all. And I'm really, really grateful. Like I said, I'm not even joking. I I'm going to call you right after this call. So just after this call, just give me 2 minutes and I'm going to just share some things with you. Just 2 minutes after this call, right? I want to say thank you. And the engagement has also shown in the comments that people have really gotten value this evening. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much for your time. And thank you to your wife and kids for releasing you to us for this time. Thank you so much. My regards to them. So thank you everyone. Please do well to still repost, right? And tag people to this. Let them watch and learn and get Dr. Michael's books. You've heard from him. If you really want to get those double promotion that we talked about, short circuit, shorten your career span. This is something that you want to invest in for yourself. All right. Thank you so very much. God
Thank you,
bless you.
Nika.
I
Thank
am
you so much.
very
Thank you so
grateful.
much. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'll call you just now, please.
Yeah.